Welcome back from the coffee break นะครับ so this is Internationalization Forum so and you all from Internationalization Department and I'm sure that you can understand English very well but there are two Americans you can understand them easily but for me for English please bear with me okay and the next session is time to explore the world first things first like you all see the schedule before you came here and we have two guest speakers. The first one, he studied PhD in political science at Northern Illinois University and now he's working at the Ministry of Justice. Please welcome Aaron Johnson. And the next speaker, he just graduated Master of Art in Southeast Asian Study from University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and now he's working at the Ministry of Transportation. Please welcome Joshua Montai. Before that, so it's going to be bilingual, นะครับ Thai or English, because they have some experience in Thailand for a while before they come here, and then this time, and then they know some Thai language. So for some information that they face at ministry for right now, maybe want to deliver in Thai is much better. So it's going to be switch on and off, switch on and off. And I forgot ครับ why they're here, because they are Fulbright Fellows. Under the program of Fulbright Public Policy Fellows, it is right from the U.S. government, between U.S. government and Thai government. That's why they're both working at our government office, and we select two ministries for them. Okay, and because of the topic of powers exchanges, and it's very beneficial for all of you here, but in this sense, we would like to concentrate the first session of the host and home university, home office, host university, and host office. Maybe it's different, maybe it's similar for your works, but you can apply from the experience and for the deliveries. ครับ okay, I introduced for so long, right? We have some hours. One thing, ครับ first question, I know that you've been here in Thailand before, so maybe we have some expectations before you get the scholarship for this program. And then what kind of your expectation before you come to Thailand in this second time or third time? Maybe Aaron first?
Sure. My expectations with regards to working at the Ministry of Justice was mainly to sort of learn what the ministry needed first. So not sort of assume too much. But to sort of come in willing to help in any capacity and to contribute in every area asked. And then from there, grow in terms of my responsibilities. And so I think, at least for me, it was important to have low expectations at first, because I didn't know what was going to be required from me. So that's sort of my take.
ครับ How about Josh? Any expectation before?
I think it was actually quite similar to what Aaron was saying. Maybe you could think of it, I had two sets of expectations. I had a set of personal expectations, what I wanted to achieve for myself, my personal growth. But in terms of expectations from my host, my expectation was not to have any expectations, I guess you could say. I've done international exchanges before, and I know they can take many different shapes. So I just tried to go into it with an open mind.
Okay, your expectation is no expectation. Is it really right when PTIP always inform all ETAs, English teaching assistant, to the no expectation in Thailand, but it doesn't mean it's bad, but it's always is in good and bad in the sense. Okay, and that's your expectation when you in the U.S., when you were in the U.S., and then when you really come here, ครับ your expectation change, differences, or I don't know, over expectation or lower expectation, and then when you're in ministry, it is different, ครับ Maybe Aaron?
With regards to the...
Yeah, where you have expectation in the US and then you're here in Thailand at the ministry. Is it different or slightly different, or is it lower than your expectation?
Actually, no. I apply this philosophy also in the U.S. And I've had experience working as a bureaucrat in the U.S. And you walk into the situation just willing to learn. I think people want to see someone who has that attitude, who's come to contribute to their agency, as opposed to someone who comes in thinking that they know everything, that they already have school experience and different types of experience. The approach from me was to sort of just remain flexible. So.
George?
I think for myself, the expectation changed in that being here in Thailand, working inside the government of a foreign country, I know that I kind of have to adapt myself to a new set of cultural expectations. So I expect from myself to come into the situation knowing that what works in the United States or other countries, it might not work in Thailand. There may be overlap, but I need to expect from myself to adapt quickly and really learn from my coworkers how things are done here.
And just because you both have experience in Thailand before, that's why it's very easy for you to adapt to our Thai culture in the government office, maybe.
Yeah, but I think having experience in Thailand before, as I have, is one thing. But having experience working inside a government or inside the government bureaucracy, it's a whole nother thing. So I think it would be assuming too much to think, oh, I've been to Thailand before, I know how things work here, and just throw everything into my new job with my new host. I think I have to realize that I don't know everything about the culture here, especially in a new work environment. So I think I had to keep that in mind.
Want to add anything, Aaron, about the expectation different before and after, maybe?
Sure. I would sort of like the previous presentation about the fact that, at least for me, inside the Ministry of Justice, it's a little bit more formal than it would be inside sort of the U.S. government. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with your superiors, your supervisor, you're very formal. But the atmosphere is very loose with your colleagues. You're joking around. You're doing your job. I mean, but it's still very very friendly and sort of you have people laughing and doing things like that. And I think at least right now, it's a little bit more serious in the Thai government, actually. So.
So is this how many months ahead that you should still stay in Thailand from now? Maybe you will feel some difference, something changed. But for now, if you were a host office, what would you like to do or to change or to suggest them to be a good host?
I think I realize that being a host it's a very challenging job. You first, outsiders, I'm sure not most of you here, but outsiders might think, oh, they're just hosting. How hard can that be? Somebody's coming here and they're doing work for you, and that's great. But I realize it's a lot of work. And I think one of the most important things of being a host is not being afraid to to challenge the people who are coming, and that can be difficult, especially sometimes in Thai culture. ไม่พูดตรงนะครับ You go around. So being able to challenge someone, but also not do it directly in your face, that can be difficult. But I think it's something that if you work on, it can really create a more beneficial environment for both parties.
Okay, Aaron.
Yeah, I just want to add, the aspect of communication is very important, especially when you have sort of different cultures coming together. And, as Josh was saying, speak straightforward. If this is what you want, tell me. And, I've had to sort of learn, if my supervisor suggests that maybe I should go to this meeting, that means go to the meeting. And, as Josh also said, just for the host to have trust and confidence in the exchange, that, it's okay to delegate tasks, and then throughout time, as more trust develop with regards to quality of work, then you can give even more responsibilities to the exchange.
Yeah, but it sounds a little bit serious because, in government office, sometimes it's difficult to do, like you said, but like straightforward, we cannot พูดตรง to our boss or เจ้านาย
Right.
And then it is some kind of Thai culture, Thai context. So how can you go circle around and make them feel better? Or what would you do anyway to achieve your work just because our Thai culture, we always do like that?
It helps to smile. It's a very difficult. It's a difficult thing. It's something that we work on every day. I think I am helped somewhat in that a lot of the people that I work with, and I'm assuming a lot of people that Aaron works with, do have international experience, do have experience studying or working in other cultures. So they know that how things are working in my mind might be a little bit different, and I think they're able to somewhat adapt that. But I know that I can't assume or expect them to do that, but I think I am aided somewhat by people knowing that how I'm thinking about things might be a little bit different. And I appreciate when people are aware of that.
Yeah, I sort of, sometimes that sort of, that perspective even backfires because sometimes I try to think the Thai way and then they're thinking Falang way. So we're sort of dancing around each other. But yeah, I think if you have, like I have close colleagues that I chat with about many issues, and I sort of ask them, well, what does this mean, and how should I approach this situation? What would you do in this situation? And so that helps a lot. And it also shows that that you care enough to be considerate and be mindful of different contexts and cultures.
Okay. And you under the Fulbright Public Policy Fellows, do you think that you yourself and the program that you under this program benefit to the host office, to the ministry that you work for? You think that how much do you contribute to the host office as some kind of exchange from your U.S. government?
Yeah, I would like to think that I serve great coffee. No, I think that one of the main contributions for me to make is to offer my perspective on different issues, share my experiences, working inside the U.S. government and sort of offer sort of my viewpoint on how a certain situation would be approached and handled. And so I think that I've made a contribution in that regard. And also, you know, my supervisor in particular is always emphasizing that I give feedback. And that's encouraging, as opposed to, you know, someone saying, just sit down and be quiet. So that gives me the confidence to give advice as well. So.
Okay, it's good. Josh, how about your office?
Yeah, I think there's a few different things I can contribute. There's the more official, hard, like policy issues where I can share, oh, this is how they build mass transportation in American cities. Not necessarily saying it's better or worse, just saying this is how it's done here. Maybe there's a thing or two you can learn. So there's policy things like that I think it's very, very helpful to exchange. On the more soft cultural side of things, I think there's a lot of valuable exchange going on. Just the past week or two with the American election, I just enjoyed going to lunch with my coworkers and just talking about how this works and what is the Electoral College, and trying to explain why I like one candidate more than another, and maybe asking them their views about Thai politics. I think that sort of exchange that's not really official work related in some ways is just as valuable. So I really enjoyed contributing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys contribute more, share experience, or be flexible with a colleague. But because the Ministry of Justice, Ministry of Transportation is kind of big, large number of officers, how can you make others know you that, oh, Farang work here, oh, you Farang work here, why you have to answer many questions, and how you can make them get to know you? That is very good for exchange student or the Thai student go to the US as well.
I mean, I think it's been pretty easy for people to see me and know who I am, because I look kind of strange. I don't really look like I should be walking around the Ministry of Transport. So everybody knows my name, but I'm definitely still trying to learn everybody else's name. But really, I've been amazed. I mean, I guess I haven't been amazed, but it still amazes me how friendly people have been, how open people have been coming and talking to me. And I realize that Farang can be a very scary thing, especially if you don't know that they can speak Thai, if you have to speak English to them, it can be very scary. So I've really been amazed how brave so many people have been in approaching me and welcoming me. It amazes me every day, actually.
Aaron, you have a tougher?
ไม่ใช่ ทุกคนรู้จักผม You know, it's sort of what Josh was saying. Everyone knows the Falang. Everyone knows about the Falang. Why is he here? You know, what is he doing? How come he can speak Thai? And so it's funny because my work colleagues who I go to lunch with, they tell me that when they walk alone throughout the ministry, everyone goes up to them and says, "Who is that? Who's that guy? Who's that guy? Who's that Falang?" And they ask them so many questions, and you know, I enjoy that, and I enjoy, you know, saying hello to everyone, whether it be my supervisors, colleagues, maintenance staff. You know, just saying hello, chatting in Thai, you know, joking around. You know, that sort of lets them know that, you know, yes, he's a Falang, but he's okay. You know.
Because they don't know that you can understand Thai, even gossip in Thai, right?
They do now.
They do now.
So my colleagues, you know, they say that they have to be careful around me.
Okay, for this situation, both of you are here in Thailand. Can you think of if Thai grantees under the same program like you, and then work in the ministry or some U.S. government office, would it be the same experience?
The agency that I worked for in D.C., they actually had a program where they would have fellows come in and work, and so had fellows from Pakistan, Israel, Yemen, where else? Franceด้วย, and you know, it's sort of. I think it would be a little bit difficult with regards to security clearance and access to documents, confidential documents. But other than that, I think you still have Americans that want to know, who you are, because we can read about it in the book. People from Pakistan like this. This is their culture, but to actually talk to someone from there, befriend them, it's very exciting, and so I think that a similar program in the U.S. would be very beneficial to Thais here. So.
Okay, what do you think, Josh?
A couple of thoughts. Just on the security thing that Aaron mentioned, I've actually been meaning to write a blog post about this. I'm amazed at my ministry how there's basically zero security at all. I mean, literally anybody from the street. Maybe they assume I'm there for official business, so they don't bother me, and they would maybe question just a random person walking in, but I really feel like anybody could walk inside any office, definitely no metal detectors, anything like that. So that's one thing that has surprised me about the ministry here. But in terms of the U.S., I think the issue of language would be something that would be different. I think Americans forget that people speak other languages besides just English, and I think they would expect someone to speak very good English. Whereas here, it's almost the opposite. They're shocked that I could speak any Thai at all. So that actually, it makes it easier for me, because anything that I can speak, it's just, oh, it's amazing, it's amazing. I'm constantly getting praise, whereas I think maybe someone, a Thai person going to the United States, it could be really